Our credit card comes with a credit limit, and this limit is reset based on monthly cycle. When the card limit is reached, we cannot spend any more money, and we have to wait till end of the monthly billing cycle, and we get the same spend limit for the next month or the next billing cycle. We can also have add-on cards issued to our family members, and we can set the spend limit on each of these individual add-on cards. During the billing cycle, if total spend reaches to a threshold, the credit card will not allow to spend any more money to those individuals. Credit card and monthly cycle help us to control our spending habit when it comes to credit cards. Likewise, a resource monitor is a Snowflake object that help us to control the cost by alerting and suspending our compute or a virtual warehouse or a group of virtual warehouses as and when it reaches to a different usage threshold. So, what is that you need to learn about Snowflake resource monitors and the opportunity it throws to Snowflake platform owner or the data ops and development teams when it comes to virtual warehouse monitoring and account level compute spend? You will be able to answer following questions confidently once you finish this episode. Does resource monitor applicable only for a virtual warehouse or a compute resources? Difference between account and warehouse level resource monitors. What is the role of frequency and trigger in a resource monitor? How notification works for a resource monitor? Which role can create resource monitor objects in Snowflake? Can multiple resource monitors be associated with a virtual warehouse? What is a dormant resource monitor? What is customized schedule in a resource monitor? What are the different actions supported by resource monitor? What happens to a virtual warehouse when suspend action is triggered? So, if you want to build a solid understanding about Snowflake resource monitors and observe your Snowflake compute cost and even control them at account level as well as at warehouse level, then stay with me until the end of this video. Welcome back to my channel Data Engineering Simplified and to this real jumpstart course for Snowflake data professionals. The last 22 episodes in this series already covered history to architecture, data loading, micro-partition, time travel, cloning, streams, task, role and role hierarchy, stored procedures, functions, views, information schema, and many more important concepts. This episode, Chapter 23, will primarily deep dive into resource monitor to control compute cost in your Snowflake account. We will explore how to create resource monitor objects at account level as well as at warehouse level and configure them to trigger different actions. We will also understand the different frequency types, quota and quota reset concept along with email and webui notifications. We will also see how the suspend and suspend immediate actions work and how does it control the virtual warehouse cost in your Snowflake account. We will practice everything using Snowflake free trial edition and have hands-on exercise to cover all the concepts listed in this slide. So let's start. Before we move next, let me ask this. Do you want to have mastery in the Snowflake Cloud Data Warehouse? I believe you should be because there are many amazing opportunities available if you are familiar with the Snowflake Cloud Data Warehouse system. I have been adding a lot of great content to help the Snowflake community. The response I received from my audience much exceeded my expectation. People are getting certified on their first attempt and scoring nearly 100%. My free content is used by data engineers, data lead, architect, and even data managers. You don't need to buy any expensive courses. Check my playlist. It includes almost everything to make you a successful Snowflake data professional. So, if you find something useful in this content, please press the like button. Leave your opinion in the comment section or send me a direct message on Instagram. Before we start practicing resource monitor using Snowflake webui, let's understand how does it function. There are two types of resource monitors, account level and warehouse level. To understand it better, we will use the credit card analogy. Account level resource monitor is more like a primary credit card holder, and virtual warehouses are more like a add-on card holders. Primary card holder is having a credit limit, for example 10K, and all add-on card holders issued by primary card holder is also having their individual credit limit, or we can call them individual quota for spending money. In this example, primary card holder has a credit limit of $10,000. The add-on card 1 holder has credit limit of $2,000 and the add-on card 2 holder has credit limit of $5,000. These add-on card limits are sub-limit and cannot exceed the primary cardholder limit. And in this case, that is $10,000. Collectively, all three cardholders cannot spend more than $10,000 at any given billing cycle. Once the billing cycle is over, their current spend reset back to zero and the cardholders can start using the credit card once again. For any given month or a billing cycle, if add-on card 1 holder spent $1,500 and add-on card 2 holder spent $4,500, the total spend on this group will go up to $6,000. And even though primary account holder has $10,000 of credit limit, primary account holder can only spend $4,000 as the remaining amount, as add-on card holders have already consumed $6,000 in this group of credit cards. If we take another scenario where add-on card 1 holder has spent $1,500 and the primary account holder has spent $8,000, the total spend has reached to $9,500 and nobody can spend more than $500 even if individual cardholder has enough spend as far as their credit limit is concerned. Snowflake Resource Monitor works in a similar fashion. There are minor differences and exceptions, and we will understand them in following slides. Let's say we have a medium-sized virtual warehouse. It consumes 4 credit per hour. So, for the month of January, if it runs 24/7, it will consume 24 hours multiplied by 31 days equals to 744 hours. And it translates to 2,976 credit, which means 744 hours multiplied by 4 credit per hour. As per our ETL workload, this warehouse needs to run around 3 to 4 hours every day and maybe 5 to 6 hours over the weekends. So when we create this virtual warehouse, we will enable the auto resume and auto suspend configuration and want to make sure that it does not consume more than 1,000 credits in a monthly cycle. We can call it monthly quota, credit quota, or a monthly budget. And we need to make sure we don't overconsume or cross this allocated credit quota or a credit budget. To achieve this, we will create a resource monitor object in Snowflake by setting a limit of 1,000 credit per month. We will also set some triggers so we as an account owner will be notified via Snowflake webui or via emails when the virtual warehouse consumes 70% of the credit quota or 80% of the credit quota or 90% of the credit quota. We will add an action when 90% or above credit is used by the virtual warehouse, and resource monitor will suspend all the queries running within the virtual warehouse or make the virtual warehouse non-usable if 100% credit quota is used by it. When we create a resource monitor object in Snowflake, be it account level or warehouse level, we can specify total 7 trigger points and associate an action with each of these trigger point. We can trigger maximum 5 notification as action, and these notification will be triggered based on percentage of credit used by the virtual warehouse. One suspend action can be triggered where virtual warehouse will be suspended without aborting any running queries, and virtual warehouse will be stopped gracefully as soon as the percentage of credit usage crosses this limit. This includes webui notification as well as email notification. Finally, we can have only one suspend immediate trigger where virtual warehouse will be stopped by aborting all the running queries as soon as the percentage of credit usage crosses this limit. This again includes webui notification and email notification. If we are defining account level resource monitor and if the credit usage crosses any trigger point, be it suspend or suspend immediately, all the virtual warehouses within your Snowflake account will be stopped either gracefully or forcefully according to the action defined in your account level resource monitor. If you have multiple virtual warehouses for a specific project or for a specific work stream, you can associate a resource monitor to multiple virtual warehouses. In this example, before it triggers any action, it combines the credit usage by both the virtual warehouses. One is medium and one is small. And if it finds the combined credit usage by both the virtual warehouses are more than the specified limit, it will trigger those actions accordingly, like notifications or a suspend or immediate suspend. And by this action, it will try to control the excessive usage of a compute resources jointly and keep the compute usage within the specified budget. So this is how the resource monitor works, and you can create resource monitor to control the compute at account level where all the virtual warehouses compute will be jointly monitored, or you can create a resource monitor monitoring individual virtual warehouse or group of warehouses. Resource monitor and virtual warehouse is having one-to-one relationship, and hence you cannot set multiple resource monitor to a single virtual warehouse. So we have understood how it works in theory. Let's jump into snowsight webui and understand how resource monitors actually work and different type of resource monitor and the configuration supported by them. Let's create resource monitors using webui. Here I am in my Snowflake free trial edition and logged into the snowsight webui. I logged in as an account admin profile, and I can see this admin menu from the side panel. When I click on that, I can see another submenu called resource monitor. When I click on a resource monitor, all the resource monitor which are available and active in my account will be listed here. If I switch my role from account admin to system admin or any other role like a security admin, resource monitor will not be listed. Let's try that out. So my role switched to system admin. However, the page is not refreshed automatically. Let me refresh it. Once I refresh the page, none of the resource monitors are visible now. So sometime snowsight webui does not reload the page automatically and you have to forcefully reload the page. Let me go back to the account admin. Now I can see all the 6 resource monitor which are already active in this account. By default, all the resource monitors are sorted by the name. However, you can click on the header and you can sort the list by that particular attribute. If you have a lot of resource monitor, you can use the search function and search a particular resource monitor. Here, you can also use account level, warehouse level, and empty resource monitor. So for example, I choose account. I have only one account level resource monitor, and in any Snowflake account, you will have only one active account level resource monitor. These are all active resource monitor at warehouse level. And if I have any resource monitor which are dormant, not functioning either at account level or at warehouse level, they are called dormant resource monitors and it does nothing. And that's why they are marked as empty. If you want to know which resource monitors are associated with a virtual warehouse, you can use this virtual warehouse filter criteria. And here it says compute virtual warehouse is associated with this resource monitor. I can also apply frequency as a filter. Here you can filter resource monitor which are following different frequencies like monthly, daily, weekly, yearly, and never. So this is how you can use search or a different filter criteria to narrow down the result. You can also click on a refresh and it will refresh the entire screen. From here, you can also edit and drop the resource monitor. So let's create our first resource monitor and understand what all attribute needs to be provided to create a resource monitor. So I click on this plus resource monitor button and it brings a pop-up which says new resource monitor. Let me add a demo resource monitor. Here I have to specify the credit quota. I'm giving a credit quota as 10. So the next field says number of credits allowed per cycle and I'm going to specify 10. Now, what kind of monitoring I want to apply? So here I have a two selection, either account level or warehouse level. Right now I will go and choose warehouse level. Now I'm going to choose a virtual warehouse, and I have created a virtual warehouse called demo01m size virtual warehouse. I can also choose multiple virtual warehouses, but for this demo I have selected only one. What does it say? This resource monitor called demo_01 having a credit quota of 10, and this will monitor this demo0_1 virtual warehouse. Now let's talk about the schedule. The moment I create this resource monitor, it will be effective immediately. It will monitor forever. The monitoring cycle is monthly. I can also click on a customize. I can go and make it daily, or I can make it weekly, yearly, or never. For now, I am going to have a daily reset cycle. I also get different options. I can start this resource monitor in future. I can also give a custom end date, or I can also specify a range. This resource monitor will function between these two particular date, right? If I click on this small clock icon, it will also give me an option to indicate the time along with the date. So this is how this works. So I am going back to my default option called immediately. So this resource monitor will start immediately, and this will run on a daily basis. Let me click and apply it. Now here you can see it will start immediately. This virtual warehouse will be monitored forever, and it will reset daily. Now there are a couple of actions which I can specify. When the total credit usage reaches to 100%, it means that 10 credits, suspend immediately and notify when this percentage of credit is used. What does it mean? Abort all running queries and suspend the warehouse immediately. Fine, and it doesn't say warehouse, it says warehouses. You can associate more than one warehouse with this resource monitor. Second, I would say suspend and notify when 90% of the credit is used, and here it says allow running queries to complete before suspending warehouses, or we can say it will suspend the warehouse gracefully. Notify when 85% of credit is used. I can click on the add button, and you can see here I have added total 4 more notification. Let me give some numbers. It means that notify when 65% of credit is used, no other action. Likewise 70%, 75%, 80%, and 85%. So I can only define two actions where warehouse will be suspended or warehouses will be suspended when it reaches to the 90% in a gracefully manner and 100% hard stop. This is how my resource monitor definition looks like. Now I'm going to click on the create resource monitor, and I can see my resource monitor demo01 is created and it start functioning. I can click on this triple dot, select edit. I cannot change my resource monitor name. The credit quota has changed automatically to 10.00. If I want, I can change any one of this number. Instead of 65, if I want to do 60, I can say save resource monitor. So this is how you can create a resource monitor, associate a virtual warehouse. Good. Now I will switch to legacy web UI, and I would like to show one difference between snowsight and the legacy web UI. Now you can see I am logged in with my legacy web UI, and my profile is account admin profile. When you log in with account admin profile, you would be able to see this tab called account tab. Click on the account tab. It will show you the usage tab by default. Switch to the resource monitors tab. All the 7 resource monitors are visible, and we have created this resource monitor demo01. I can click on the create resource monitor button. Let me quickly fill the detail. You notice one important thing. If a virtual warehouse is already monitored by any other resource monitor, it will bring the detail right after the virtual warehouse. This virtual warehouse is not being monitored by any resource monitor, so let me select this. Here, if I select a virtual warehouse which is being monitored by another resource monitor, let's see what happens. It will say warehouse that are already monitored will be reassigned, and we'll understand that. Here I can click on this customize, and I will say start immediately, and it is also a daily, and it ends on a particular date, 30th of September. and I set this end date. Okay, so here you can say start monitoring immediately and reset daily until 9/30/2022. Now let me fill this figure numbers. I have specified the same things, and before I click on a create, one option which we have not noticed in our snowsight is that show SQL. Let me click. It says create resource monitor demo 02 with credit quota 10, frequency daily, start timestamp immediately, and end timestamp equals to 39/2022. And it says triggers on 100% suspend, on 90% suspend immediately, and then notify on a different percentage. Once this resource monitor is created, then you assign this resource monitor to these two different virtual warehouses. Okay, so this is how you can use this SQL statement, and you can automate the creation of resource monitor through any kind of programming language or through stored procedures. Now, one important thing to notice, line number 10 and line number 11 says that virtual warehouse and resource monitors are having one-to-one relationship. You cannot associate many resource monitor to a single virtual warehouse. So let me go back to the form and remove this. Okay, I'm going to create this resource monitor. Now it says that invalid date time. Since I have selected everything through the screen, not sure why does it say. Let me change this. So my resource monitor demo 02 is created successfully, and it is at warehouse level, and it has a credit quota 10. It will start immediately, and it is applied on demo 021 virtual warehouse. The reset frequency is daily. If you look into this level, there are many warehouse level resource monitor, but there is only one account level resource monitor, and there is one entry where resource monitor level is empty. These kind of resource monitors are called dormant because they are inactive and they do nothing, and that's why they are called dormant resource monitor. Now let me edit this resource monitor. Here I can reassign account type resource monitor, and the moment I say monitor level is account, since I already have an account level resource monitor here, it is RM_50 credit account level. It says RM_50 credit underscore account underscore level with 50 credit quota already exists. Creating a new one will replace it, and all previous monitored credit will be reset. Okay, so be careful when you are creating a new account level resource monitor. Make sure that you do not have any other account level resource monitor, else you will lose all your history. Okay, so important point to remember. Let's see how this SQL looks like here. And if you look into this SQL statement from line number 1 to line number 5, it simply says that alter resource monitor setting the credit quota equals to 10. Figures are 95, 85, 75. And then line number 6 is nothing but a single alter statement, which is setting the resource monitor at account level. And when we execute this line number 6, it will replace this RM_50 credit account level resource monitor. Okay, so one important thing, people prefer to use a legacy web UI sometime because it allows you to see the SQL statement from here. Maybe in future Snowsight will also add this view SQL function, and you can do everything from the Snowsight itself. So I'm canceling it. Now if you want to track all those actions what we have done through the web UI is also recorded in the history tab. Let's quickly go and see that. To see those SQL statement which is executed from the web UI, I have to select this include client generated statement, and I can see here my resource monitor 02 is created followed by the alter statement. So this is how you can use the Snowsight as well as legacy web UI, list all your existing resource monitors and edit them or drop them or get the complete detail. When you compare how the resource monitors are listed on the front screen between legacy web UI and Snowsight, legacy web UI display almost all the attributes of a resource monitor on a single page. It has roughly 15 plus column, which includes frequency, start time, end time, notify, suspend, suspend immediate, create, owner, and comment. However, when I go to the resource monitor on a Snowsight, it does not show, it shows handful of column. You have to click on any one of them, and then you will find all the summary on this page. Okay, so this is one of the important difference between legacy web UI and snowsight. One interesting thing you will find here, if you're not very comfortable granting roles to a different user or creating a different roles for a different privileges from the snowsight, you can click on this privilege button and you can select a particular role. For example, I would like the PM role to get different privileges. Instead of writing SQL, I can come to this screen and I can say this particular role can use the resource monitor, and this particular role can also monitor the resource monitor, and it can also modify. I can click on the grant privileges. This particular role will get the usage as well as monitor privileges. Let's see what happens with this role. And when I switch this role from here, you can see I do not get any add resource monitor button. However, I am able to see this resource monitor. So this is how you can use the add privilege button from snowsight to give different privileges to a different role within your account. If you are not very sure how the user role and access control works, you can watch my previous chapter where I have covered the role and access management in detail. So let's understand how we can run SQL command to list down all the resource monitors. So here I am in my legacy web UI and I'm going to change my role to the account admin for this demo. And I can run this command show resource monitors. Now the result of this command lists down all the 8 resource monitors which are currently available in my account. And it says the name of the resource monitor, the credit quota, the used credit, remaining credit, at what level it is. If it is null, it is a dormant resource monitor. If it is account, which should be only one in this list, it means it is account level resource monitor, and rest all of them will be warehouse level resource monitor. At what frequency the resource monitor is operating on, start time, end time, different notification percentage, and they are separated by comma, suspend at, suspend immediately, different percentage for suspend at and suspend immediately, and followed by who has created this, comment and notify user. So these are all the resource monitors. And if I would like to filter by a specific name, then I can use a like keyword. Whether it is lowercase or uppercase, it doesn't matter. In both the cases, it will bring the same result. We got the total 8 result, and here again total 8 result. From here you can open the query profile and you can see this is a metadata level operation. Most of the other objects support the describe SQL command. However, resource monitor doesn't do that. So for example, if I want to describe this particular resource monitor, let's see what happens. It says that unsupported feature, because all the information and the configuration parameter associated with the resource monitor can be fetched using the show command. Now, one interesting thing to observe, if I try to switch my role from account admin to the system admin, let's see what happens to the show resource monitors. It does not fetch any result. Okay, we have created another role called PM role. Now my role is a PM role, and this role has access to one resource monitor, and let's see how it brings a result. So I can see the account PM role is able to see this resource monitor. However, this user cannot make any modification or any changes to the resource monitor. Now I have another way to validate what all resource monitors are associated with my virtual warehouse, and for that I can run the show warehouse command using this role. So I'm back to the account admin role. And now when I run the show warehouses, let's see what happens. It brought total 13 virtual warehouses. And there is a column called resource monitor. So for each of the virtual warehouse, there is one-to-one mapping with the resource monitor, and the resource monitor which are associated with the virtual warehouse are listed here. Here I can see there is one virtual warehouse which does not have any resource monitor. Now, if I change my role from account admin to system admin, now I am back to the system admin, and when I click on the show warehouses, let me scroll right, and I can see the resource monitor is null. So, very important thing to notice, just because the resource monitor field is null for your user profile doesn't mean that resource monitors are not associated with that. You need to have the right privileges to fetch this field value. This is how you can list the resource monitor using SQL statement via show resource monitors or show warehouses. Let's understand notify user setting. So when you execute this show resource monitor SQL command, you will get a field called notify users. They are the user who would be notified when these different actions are triggered. So to enable that, you have to go to this profile tab, click on the preferences. Here you have to click on this notification. When you see the notification, it says that notify me via web, email or all. And by default, the none text will be highlighted. What does it mean? That neither web nor email notification will be triggered. Click on this text all the changes are saved. Now your notifications for web as well as for email are enabled. This particular user will be notified through the registered email address or through the web. However, this name does not appear in this list. If you try to achieve the same thing through the snowsight, I don't think it is possible. Even though it gives a profile menu, it brings this pop-up. However, it has no notification option. It has one notification option called notify when queries finishes in the background. However, it has no notification for the resource monitor. Let me go back to the legacy web UI. Before we associate a user for a notification, we have to make sure that that particular user's email is verified, and that you can do by going to this profile menu, click on a preferences, and once you click on a preferences, you will come to this screen where you click on send verification email, and you have to verify the email. Once the email is verified, you would be able to associate the user with user notify field. I will get an email like this where I click on validate your email, click on this, and your email has been verified. Close the window. If you try to create a resource monitor by using this line number 8, which says that notify users, it will end up with an error. Once your email address is verified, you can use the SQL statement to create a resource monitor, and you have to specify notify users equals to name of the users. And if this user's email is not verified, you will end up in an error like this. Okay, since our email address has been verified, now let's try to create a resource monitor. My resource monitor got created successfully, and now I am going to associate this resource monitor with a warehouse called demo03. Now it got executed successfully. Now let's run the show resource monitor. And I can see my notify user is available here. So this is how we can associate a notify user. However, the notify user is not possible through our web UI, and that's why it is important to play with SQL to make sure that you get the complete control over your resource monitor object. Now let's understand how this notification works based on the different notification frequency, suspend and suspend immediate frequency. So here on my screen right now, you can see different color. If a resource monitor has already suspended a warehouse because it has been overused, then it will come in a red color. And if you see other resource monitor where credit is used, but still it is within the limit of the credit quota, it will come in a blue color. If you go to the snowsight, it looks like here I can continue to refresh. And you see my percentage are changing as the warehouses are running and executing the queries. Right? Let me refresh this screen too. Now one difference I have observed, if you hover these things, it says that 50% quota is used, and that's why it has changed the color from blue to pink. Now I will continue to refresh because my warehouses are running in the background, and this is account level resource monitor, and what it says that it will notify at 50%, 60%, 70% and 80%, will suspend at 95% or 90%. Let me refresh my entire screen so I will be able to see the notification on this notification tab. So far I have not got any notification, and when I click on the notifications tab, it shows notifications are currently off. So let me click on this settings and enable the notification. So I say all notifications are enabled, and let me refresh my screen. Now I can see that it has reached to the 54% of the quota, and when I click on the notification, I can see the different notifications are triggered, and here you can see it has been triggered in 7 minutes ago, and here you can see that RM 50 credit account level is triggered, RM 1 credit daily warehouse is triggered. Lot of other resource monitor notifications are triggered based on the different notification limit. So this is how the notification function works as per this screen. And if you look into this particular resource monitor, which is a warehouse level resource monitor, and it has suspended a particular virtual warehouse, and let's see which virtual warehouse it has suspended. So it is attached with a compute virtual warehouse. And if I go and try to resume this virtual warehouse, let's see what happens. So this is suspended. I selected this particular line item and say resume. The moment I say resume, it says unable to resume warehouse compute virtual warehouse. Warehouse compute warehouse cannot be resumed because resource monitor has exceeded its quota. So this is how resource monitor triggers notification, and if it exceeds its quota, it will completely suspend the virtual warehouse and you won't be able to resume it unless otherwise you either remove the resource monitor or you change the credit quota for that cycle period. Okay, since all my warehouses are running and I have given a very limited credit quota for account level, let me refresh and let's see what is my current state. Here I can see all my resource monitors are triggered and the account level resource monitor might have suspended all my virtual warehouses. So here I can see it has crossed 132%, this is 102% and this is 111%. Since account level resource monitor is triggered, it will not allow any other warehouse to run within the account. Okay, let's go back to the virtual warehouse and I can see all my virtual warehouses are suspended. When I come to the snowsight, all my resource monitor turned into red because they have already stopped everything. So this is how my resource monitor helped me to control my overall budget within the Snowflake account. You have to really design your resource monitor very carefully because if you have set the wrong values, your entire ETL or data pipeline compute will stop without completing their job. So let's go through a quick summary of resource monitors. There are different ways you can list the resource monitor object in Snowflake. The simplest one is to execute show resource monitor SQL command and it will list all the resource monitors. However, you must have a role to see the resource monitor, else this command will not return anything or will return a partial result. So if you are not able to list any resource monitor using show resource monitor SQL command, it is very likely that your profile or a role lacks necessary privileges or your account has not yet set any resource monitor. It could be anything. Describe SQL command works for most of the Snowflake objects. However, resource monitor object cannot be used using describe SQL command. It ends with an error saying that unsupported feature. Alternatively, if you have account admin privileges, you can use legacy or snowsight webui to list and see all the resource monitor and associate attributes. For legacy webui, you can click on the account tab followed by resource monitor tab and all the resource monitors will be listed. For snowsight webui, you can go under admin main menu from the left pane and click on the resource monitor submenu and all the resources will be displayed. Make sure you have the account admin privileges before you perform these actions. Let's understand what happens when you create an account level resource monitor when an existing account level resource monitor already running. Creating a new one will replace the existing one and all previously monitored credit usage will be reset and counter will start fresh. And this is how the message appears on the screen. So what happens to an existing account level resource monitor when a new one is successfully created? When a new one is successfully created, the existing one becomes dormant. However, it continues to appear on the resource monitor screen. You can see how this appears in a legacy web UI. The level column does not have any value. And same goes with snowsight. If you have used legacy or snowsight web UI to create account level resource monitor to track the queries in query history, we have to check the include client generated statement checkbox and then it will bring all the SQL executed to create a resource monitor and associate the resource monitor with a warehouse. To make a newly created account level resource monitor effective, two SQL statements are executed. The first one is the create DDL statement followed by alter DDL statement. And this is how it looks on the query history screen. Let's review how the UI notification and email notification appears. When resource monitor triggers notification based on usage and the quota definition, the notification tab displays the notification messages. You can see the number of messages on a notification tab, in this example like a 2, and when you click on the tab, it displays all the notification messages in chronological order. When Resource Monitor reaches its credit limit, the quota used column indicates it with a different color to draw your attention. If the indicator is other than blue, it tries to draw your attention. You can also see the query history when suspend action suspend a virtual warehouse due to Resource Monitor suspend action. And this is how it looks like. If your email address is verified, you will receive the notification via email too, and this is how the email looks like. The snowsight look and feel and the color theme for a quota used is not fully aligned with a legacy web UI. So if no notification is triggered, or even if a notification is triggered, it continues to show the blue color as highlighted here. When it reaches to 100% limit, then it turns red. However, legacy web UI follows blue color followed by pink color and followed by the red color. To get more detail about Resource Monitor, its credit used in snowsight, you have to click on the Resource Monitor row and then it will fetch additional detail about the Resource Monitor. When suspend immediate action is triggered and if a query is being executed by the virtual warehouse, the query will be terminated automatically as per the suspend immediate definition, and you would get a message saying query is suspended by the Resource Monitor, and this is how the message appears on webui. If your virtual warehouse is suspended due to suspend immediate action, and if you have to resume the warehouse, we have two options. The first, change the quota for Resource Monitor, and that will reset the counter. Alternatively, remove the association of a Resource Monitor from the warehouse. And this is also applicable for your account level Resource Monitor, where either you have to disable the account level Resource Monitor or you have to add additional quota, allow all other warehouses to execute or function properly. Now, you know how to work with resource monitors and apply them in your enterprise environment. If you are running your Snowflake without resource monitors, you might be carrying a big risk, and it may so happen that one fine month you will see hundreds of dollars of credit usage without any prior intimation, which could be addressed using a resource monitor setup, having a proper spend budget, and applying different suspend actions. Now, you may ask a question: if we have to run an automation script using Python or Java, how will you achieve this? Does Snowflake support Python or Java connectors? Yes, it does. Snowflake has many connectors, and next episode, episode 24, will deep dive into JDBC, ODBC, and Python connectors. We will learn how to set up those connectors and how to use them in a secure way and interact with Snowflake environment. So don't forget to watch the next chapter. It will make your development and Snowflake management life much more easier. I hope you have been enjoying this Snowflake learning series, and if you have found anything good in this video, press the like button and leave your comment. Alternatively, you can also contact me in my Facebook and Instagram pages. So happy learning!